Good evening, everybody. Edition of NFL Weekly Review. It's been a little bit. A lot has happened. Joined tonight, we got Rob Riley, Justin Walters, Jesse Peel, I'm Wilson Tarpey Jr. And where do you guys want to start? Last weekend was the divisional round. We're getting ready to go to the conference championships. Some things were surprising, some things were not. Anything is possible, but we're gonna get to that in just a little bit. Start with the Rams and the Packers. My man McVay just joined the Shanahan club of I just want a quarterback. I'm sick of working this hard. It's stressful. This is annoying. Look, that's my offense over there, beating me in the head right now. Looks so beautiful with an adult running it. But shout out to the Packers. This is year 2 of LaFleur. They've been winning. Clearly the system's fit. Aaron's getting more and more comfortable. And they're doing what they need to do. That offense is hard to stop. Really like the matchups in terms of what they've seen this year in the playoffs. And Rams, Aaron Donald, not fully 100%, but he was out there. So I'm not going to give him too much of an excuse because he was in fact out there. It was interesting to watch some folks with the, not fully understanding how defenses work with Jaylen Ramsey and Devontae Adams, where regardless of what everybody thinks, Matt LaFleur is not the type of dude to be like, hey, we're going to throw Jaylen Ramsey 17 times a game. So hope y'all understand that even when they threw at him, it was some pretty safe type throws. And, it had more to do with they ran the ball a lot. Green Bay did what San Fran did to them the year before in the playoffs. They were like, so we're going to run the without the ball, throw a couple times with Aaron Rodgers, play it real safe. And you got golf. We should be fine. And it worked. But Jesse, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the Rams losing to the Packers 30-18. Then Justin.
It was interesting to sit there and watch them. The difference between McCarthy and LaFleur and the symmetry between Rodgers and him is interesting. I like actually looking at to see in Rodgers' face during the game and stuff. He just looks like he fully bought in. Like he's just, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. They ran the ball that much to kind of took him from having to be I got to throw a ton of times in order to get a win. So it was I don't know. I just like the way he looks in this offense.
Justin?
Yeah, I think like Jesse was saying, it's funny how, we live in that whole we need these quarterbacks to carry our teams. And to get the best out of some of these guys, you're realizing that they're doing less. It's like, okay, when it's my time to put it on my back, I will. But when they're struggling, it's when they try to do everything. And I think with Rodgers, it's like, oh, wow, like these plays actually work. I can throw the whatever these random receivers that we considered bust years ago, but these dudes are all right because this guy's putting them in position to be successful. I think that's a big thing with a lot of these guys. More so like the coaching. It's a combination of the coaching and the quarterback play. I think a lot of these teams, it's like you're drafting these guys with physical tools and you're asking them to do everything. And you're finally, when you can get a good mix, it's like, okay, when it's my time, if things don't go right, Aaron Rodgers can bail you out. But when you put it all on him, like he was doing, in the past, that's when you make out the mistakes. He's making some mistakes and forcing passes and that type of thing. But, it's like, why live? I'm a fan of a team that lives in that one-on-one world of, hey, I know you got your best guy and our best guy, but we're going to force it to him anyway. I think you don't have to go at Jaylen Ramsey. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like Jaylen Ramsey is the best corner in the league, and then they got 2 other corners that are okay. Why attack Jaylen Ramsey? I think that's the issue with a lot of these offensive coordinators and these teams. It's like the ultimate goal is to win the football game, score points. But when you're one-on-one, we got to go here, you end up with mistakes. And I think that's what separates a lot of these teams, and with the Rams, you got to give the Rams some respect. But like you said, it's funny because it's like golf is okay. But McVay's at the point where he's like, why am I working this hard? It's like, I'm calling these plays and I got to tell you who's open and this and that's. Like, why is it that hard? Like, I'm just a coach. You know what I mean? Like I'm on one step from throwing the football. Like it's like let me get a guy who can do a little more. And why can't I be wrong sometimes and you bail me out? Why I gotta be that guy? So it's funny. I think I texted Wilson during the game. I told my son, I said, McVay's gonna get them points right now. Like why would I say? And he did. I think it was at the point where the game had a chance to go to either become a blowout or they cut it to 6 or something like that. And I told my son, I said, McVay's gonna get them points right here, and they went right down the field. I mean, that just speaks to how good he is at what he does. But if he can get a guy, I mean, the guy doesn't have to be Mahomes. It just has to be execute, and every once in a while hit on something. You know what I mean? That just says to how talented he is at what he does. And the Rams defense, not having Donald was a big thing. Donald being limited was a big thing. And the Packers, I don't fully have that trust in them. It's going to take me a while to get over the way the 49ers beat up on them last year, twice. I just kind of see them as a kind of a little soft, and I want to, they have to prove to me, not to me personally, but they got to prove that they can deal with that. I mean, fortunately for them, there's no teams left that'll do that to them. But it'll be interesting to see moving forward just what they can do. But they definitely have shown themselves, but I just don't think they've been tested yet. And the Rams were limited, and the Rams gave them a good game. The Rams got the ball back with a chance to tie it up or take the lead. So I mean, it speaks to McVay and how hard they fought. But the Packers still got to prove they're the best team in the NFC, but they still got to prove some things.
Roberts.
So that game was, I don't know, the game was interesting because Green Bay tested that Rams defense, and they said, okay, look, y'all supposed to have this top defense. Y'all got Aaron Donald. We're going to test that defensive line. We're going to see what's really to it. And I didn't even realize until Wilson just said they ran the ball a lot. They ran the ball a lot. And when I say a lot, not a lot of necessarily a lot of carries. It was only 36 carries on the run, but 99 yards from Aaron Jones, 65 from Williams, 27 from Dillon. Like they didn't care about what Aaron Donald and all those guys are going to do. They said this is our game plan. This is what we're going to do. Y'all got to stop it because if the run don't work, we know we got Aaron Rodgers back there that's going to get these guys open. Period. Devontae Adams, man. And bear with me. I don't like the Packers as a fan. Okay? Let's be real. As a fan, I don't like them. As just a football person, though, this is the best team in the NFC. It's clear as day. We're seeing it right now. This is why they're playing in the championship game. They just, I don't know, it's like they just took over the game from the very beginning and said, we're not backing down and y'all not going to be able to hang with us. Because you all don't have what we have on offense. You have it on the sideline as a coach, but you don't have it in that offensive backfield. You don't have what we have. So we got to step up on you right now. And it's like Jared Goff, my God, 27 throws and he didn't even hit 200 yards. Like, hey, man, at a certain point, you got to go downfield. That's a Mitch stat. Like, that is truly a Mitch Trubisky stat. When you throw the ball almost 30 times, you haven't even hit 200 yards. That's a problem. That's a real problem. But, shout out to Green Bay, man. They did what they had to do. Jaylen Ramsey, I'm still not – I ain't mad at him. That's a tough job to try to guard Devontae Adams all game long. That is tough. You know what I mean? Especially when you're running this offense where you got these guys in motion. And I think everybody saw it. The touchdown that he scored, Devontae Adams came in motion, and it was like a 3-4 yard pass, and he was pivoting, got back to the sideline. I can't do it all. Like if he's going in motion, he's already got to step up on me. I need somebody else to step up. You know what I'm saying? So miscommunication on defense, but that's what this offense will have you doing. It'll have you mad at each other on the other side of the ball because you think that you were just that terrible, but the offense is really just that good. And they've been a well-oiled machine all year long, man. So shout out to them for doing what they did. But the Rams got some answers, got some questions need answered at that quarterback position for sure. And I did not like the fact that they ran the ball 18 times with Akers and they have a three-headed monster in that backfield. They have other backs they could have used and placed in that game just to see if you can get something else going. Nothing. And I that was the one thing I wasn't really too much of a fan of. Akers had a good game, 90 yards on 18 carries. That's nice. But you got to get other guys involved because it wasn't working clearly. It wasn't really doing much. It wasn't getting you much to begin with. So, again, shout out to Green Bay, man, for doing what they did.
Yeah, I think that's before we move on. Like that's kind of the difference between the coaches that all run this similar McVay Shanahan scheme. Like Stefanski and McVay. Stefanski to me is a little bit closer. He mirrors McVay in that they will run, but they both are not committed to running, despite what they have in their backfields. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, really want to, let's get out on the perimeter, bombs away. That's what I really want to do. Like, I give Chubb 15 carries if I got to, but I want Baker throwing this thing, even though it should be I give Chubb 30 carries, Hunt 25, and we play action. But again, that's why I kind of lean closer to the other in that regard, where I think he's a little bit more closer to Kyle, especially after what he's seen from the other end, being on the opposite end of those things. Is like, at the end of the day, I got the best quarterback out of all of us, but we still going to hold possession because I got the bailout button that all you guys don't have. Yeah, I'm going to run the ball. And the other thing with Aaron is, why would I subject is like, I know he's in Rodgers, but why put him back there and let them dudes just come after him? Why? Like, there's just no reason for it. No credit to them for doing what they need to do. And I think, like, if they get past the Bucs, that's going to be the biggest thing there too, is finding a way to stick with the run. They like fighting your urge to be like, hey, Aaron, go out, do time, man. You didn't have to. You know, just when it's time to go deep, you know, you have an upper echelon dude for the 6 shots you take a game. You got somebody who that can go 7 out of 6. You got that type of guy. You know, Kyle and Sean have a guy that's going 1 out of 30 out of 6 tries. So that's the biggest difference there. Fun game.
Before we move on, a couple weeks ago, Wilson, I think you mentioned, and this is just to speak on that defensive line, you mentioned about Aaron Donald, how he is a pass rusher. That's what he does. He kills quarterbacks. But when it comes down to the run, it's a little bit different. And I think they saw that. I think they saw that because for them to run the ball as much as they did, the question is, though, are they going to stick with that plan? Because I feel like I don't know if they're going to stick with the same plan. But that stuck out to me in that game because I was like, they're not worried about Aaron Donald rushing the passer. This is why they're running the ball, because I think they saw something. They saw something where they said,
I can tell you where they saw it. I can tell you where they saw it. This version of the Niners beat that team twice this year. This version.
Right.
This trash version this year beat them. Yeah. And you want to know how they did it? They ran the ball every which way but at Aaron Donald. Because if you don't run at him, guess what? He's not about to – I mean, there'll be a splash here and there, but he's not running – no.
Right.
And then secondly, no disrespect to the other dudes up there, Sue doesn't play over there anymore. All right? Yeah. Dominican Sue is not there. No disrespect to Leonard Floyd. You also, sir, you're an athlete, and it's cool, and it's great when you're rushing off of Aaron Rodgers' shoulder, and it's wonderful, but you're still doing the run game. Don't nobody care.
Right.
Nobody care at all. 2 people block Aaron, or yet we run away from him. I know Aaron. If Aaron's over here and we're running this way, there's no way possible we're running towards Aaron. I'm gonna take a good chance of throwing towards not Aaron. I bet you not Aaron's not gonna do anything.
Guaranteed. You know, like Rob said, was you kind of eliminated their best 2 players. You took them out. Yeah. I mean, that defense is based off of Ramsey and Donald. So when you become a running team, what's Ramsey's standing on the sideline basically, and Donald's still chasing the passer. So I think, like you're saying, being able to attack, but again, being able to play from ahead also. Yep. You know, when you get ahead early and you have the Rams chasing you, and the Rams aren't an explosive offense either. So now it's just you got a good thing going. You know, I think that played a big part in that game because the Rams, it's honestly built the other way around. The Rams want you to chase them, you know, with their pass defense and their running game, but you know, the Packers have the weapons and they put it all together with the weapons and the play calling to actually, you know, really be a threat.
The crazy part about that is you have a situation where the Packers would get to 5 or 4 or 5 yards a run. So now you're putting Aaron Rodgers in, you know, second and third short, which that's a nightmare for any defense at this point.
Right.
Flip that to the other side of the Rams, where I don't know if anybody else thought this, but at a certain point, I looked at and was like, okay, John Wolford isn't in, is now. Like, it didn't feel any different. Like, it really didn't feel like it was a whole, you know, night and day. Okay, they got their starter back. I was just like, okay. And it was the same thing.
There's a reason that there's 2 teams in that division that want 2 guys under center. There's a reason. There's a reason. They both feel similar way. One has an easy out, one doesn't. But there's a reason. They're watching other people run their stuff, not even as good as them, and beat them. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, that don't even look like my play. But I got to play, and my guy can't run it either, so I guess you win. Okay. Who cares? Like the play you were talking about, my bad, we get off this game. The play you were talking about with Devontae, bro, I'm looking at the Rams, right? Lord, you done seen this play 70,000 times. Seriously, I even think run that play. There's a freaking staple in that offense.
Yeah.
We saw Jarvis score on that play the same day. Seriously, guys? Seriously? I've seen Kyle Juszczyk run that route. I've seen Kenneth Bourne run that route. I've seen George Kittle, Ross Dwelly, Emmanuel Sanders. Rams, I know you've seen it too. Seriously. I've seen Robert Woods run that route. I've seen one of your no-name tight ends run that route. How did you not know that was coming? Why was Jaylen chasing Devontae when you could have just been like, hey, you take the outside guy, I take the inside. Oh, my God, we play defense because we've seen it before. But shout out to the Rams. That's why you still got beat by a really trash Niners team, because that's who you are. I just don't get you people. I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. It makes no sense. Y'all are special.
You could always just yell switch. That's what.
And look, the craziest part to me, like, y'all saw this man running like in a dead sprint, 20-yard dead sprint. There's 2 of y'all already there. Seriously?
Everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. Nobody decided to make the right decision and go, hey, he ain't gonna be able to get there. And that's where they're going with the ball. Come on, man. God,
on your old man. But from one case of ineptitude to another, the Ravens offense, Buffalo Bills beat the Baltimore Ravens 17-3. If you're a Ravens fan, you probably knew it was a wild night when Justin Tucker was out here tricking field goals away, because that's not normal. And for the Bills, like, I give them credit to a degree just because they were able to hold on and win. Y'all might want to try that whole running the ball thing. You're wild for that. And that's on just the Ravens, you know, the shout out to whatever they got going on offensively, where you're not good enough to be doing that. I don't understand. I get that Buffalo got away with it. I wouldn't suggest that this week in terms of let's just not care about time of possession. That's probably not healthy. But you got out this game. That's what mattered. Because, I mean, ideally, like, as bad as Baltimore was, their defense held you to 10. The pick 6 was responsible for, 7 for the margin of victory right there. And shout out to Teron Johnson, great read. You guys know how they do, like, the little diagrams on Twitter when people, like, during big plays. The sad part is, like, I've seen that. I saw that play so many times before. It was like 3 curls in the end zone.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. Back in 2012, 13, and et cetera. Not going to keep beating a dead horse, but I've seen that before. I'm not shocked. I'm interested in seeing what they go about doing. We saw the Ravens add Rob Ryan as a linebacker coach. I'm interested to see if anything happens on the opposite side of the ball, because something needs to be done. This ain't it. You got to look at, you saw across the field where the Bills got a nuclear weapon. They're still figuring out how to use all of it, but they went and got him something in Diggs, and he took a jump. With Baltimore, you still got a nuclear weapon, and you don't really feel like they know exactly how that thing works all the way. Obviously he has to get better, but they got something to figure out, because you're about to hit the point soon where you're gonna have to pay him or move off him. So interesting to see where they go with that, because we're getting close to that time, right? Aren't all those guys coming up with their fourth or fifth years is about that time? So Rob, we'll start with you. Bills beat the Ravens 17-3.
Shout out to the Bills. They did what they had to do. I did not like what I saw from Lamar. He's got to get better. There's some things he's got to work on. Some mistakes that he made. The staring down at the tight end, like you cannot stare these guys down. Like come on now. Like that's nothing but trouble. The moment you do that, they already know. Oh, it's a wrap for this guy. It's over with. But some of the sacks that he takes, I hate him. I hate him so much, because I know he's a runner and he'll try to get out and escape, but he waits to the last second. And when you wait to the last second, you try to run. Now you're getting pushed back 10 more yards because you're trying to run and scoop out when that guy's a little bit too close to you. That's not going to work in the playoffs. It may work in the regular season, get you out of some trouble here and there. In the playoffs, it's a different monster, man. You have to be a little bit more safe when it comes down to those kind of plays. Because once you start getting behind the 8 ball and stuff like that, it's hard to play catch up. It's very hard to play catch up. Now, we'll give credit to their defense, because you said their defense did hold Buffalo to 10. And, we thought Buffalo was going to – I thought they was going 24, 30 points in this game, just because that's what they've been doing, man. But the defense did what they had to do. Offensively, your boy, Mr. Roman, got to figure something out, or he got to go. One of the two. I don't know if they're going to let him go or not, but he ain't it. That's not the answer, because there is a clear disconnect on the offensive side of the ball. Something is not working, and there has to be – here comes that word, fellas – an adjustment. There's no adjustment. You've been doing the same thing, and it's not working. Defenses have now caught up on it. And they know with Lamar, they're like, hey, we're going to box him in, and we're going to make him beat us outside the numbers, period. But I feel like they don't even have the plays to run outside the numbers, or they're scared to run the plays out. I don't know what it is, but there's a clear disconnect on the Baltimore side. So they got exactly what they were supposed to get. You know what I mean? Defense kept them in the game at the half. It was what, 3-3, right? 3-3 at the half. And honestly, Justin Tucker missing those field goals, I knew then that Baltimore was not going to win that game. I said they left 6 points on the board by the best kicker in the league right now, as far as how many field goals that he's making or whatnot. He can't make those, and it's that windy there, because they said it was that windy out there. Then you have a serious problem, because offensively y'all can't figure it out. So Buffalo, though, they're going to have to turn it up a notch, man, figure it out this next week or this week coming up. But, like I said, shout out to them. Josh Allen, Diggs is a big help. Big help. He had 11 targets. 11. He had 8 catches. That dude is real, man. Like, I need everybody to really put some respect on his name, man. That is a realg.com right there. For real. I need everybody to realize that, man. So, but yeah, Baltimore got some things they got to clean up, man. They need to do it ASAP, because, like you said, it's getting close to that time with Lamar where they got to figure out what they're going to do with him. You're going to pay him and help this guy develop and get him into offense is going to actually, be better for him, or are you going to let him go? And if you let him go, you might look like the fool on that one. Because I really think that he has more inside. He just got it. You need the right people around him to get it out. So that's my take.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, like Rob was saying, I think with Baltimore is you got a weapon there, like an ultimate weapon, and they're predictable. I think a lot of the assumption of, and it's kind of frustrating to watch, is you have a legit athlete back there, like a legit playmaker, and you're not working off of that playmaker. You know what I mean? So they're so predictable that it's like, I think like a majority of big run plays from a quarterback, they don't come from designed run plays. You know what I mean? They come from a drop back, the defense spreads because you got a pass play called, and then it's like, oh, there's an opening and he hits it. But you got this guy working way too hard. And defensively, it's like, okay, either Lamar's going to run on a run play or we play the pass. I mean, it's not football. So you took away what made him special coming out. He played we've got him looking like a under center, handoff, this and this and that. But he's coming out of college, they ran a lot of spread out stuff where he was able to see the field and throw the ball around. And you're limiting what makes him special. You know, I think that's a big issue with that team. And the plays they're just too predictable. And for Buffalo, what's scary with Buffalo is they haven't played well. You know what I mean? They played 2 games they should have lost. And they're supposed to be an offensive team. You know, for an offensive team to score 10 points and then they really should have lost to Indianapolis, like that's not a good thing right now. Like that's kind of scary walking into what Kansas City can be. You know what I mean? What Kansas City is capable of is whatever it takes to win, basically. You know what I mean? I think that's what Buffalo was looked at as, okay, they can put up 30 or 40 or whatever, but not being able to run the ball at all. Like they don't even try to run. You know, and Josh Allen's not that guy yet. Maybe he can be, but he's proven he's has some hit or miss to him. So if you put it all on his shoulders, things can go wrong. And I think that's where they're at. I think, you know, that they just were fortunate that Baltimore didn't take advantage of the opportunity they had. You know, the wind and all that didn't help. But like Rob was saying, if Tucker hits them, when you see Tucker's one of the most reliable players in the league. So when you see Tucker miss, I trust Tucker from 60. So when I'm seeing Tucker missing kicks, I'm like, this ain't good. But again, a lot of that comes down to Roman because maybe you shouldn't be kicking field. You know, the drives and what you have. It's just Baltimore's offense has been in a weird spot, and Lamar's showed his ability. You know, haven't been the ultimate Lamar guy because I think he can improve also, but they're not even helping him take advantage of what he has. Forget improving. You know what I mean? They're not helping him just maximize the player that he is currently. So I think that's the issue with Baltimore. And then with Buffalo, you know, you hope that it's going to be cold, probably be cold in Kansas City also. So you hope they can find a way to do a little more than just rely on so much on Diggs because, you know, Baltimore did a lot of double teaming and I mean, it shows how good Diggs is that he still makes plays, but you know they've got to be able to be a little more diverse because you don't want to go in a firefight with Kansas City. So I mean that's pretty much so.
Jesse, go ahead.
I mean, that's the thing is, I sat there and thought, like, what's between Lamar and Allen? 62 yards and Diggs, like,
yeah,
just the biggest difference between the two. But going back to Lamar and Baltimore. You know, we keep saying that they're not using them correctly. I honestly think they don't know how. Like, keep going back to the same few plays, keep going back to the same thing. It seems like when a boxer starts to realize, like, okay, I don't have a big repertoire, so I keep going back to this overhand right. Or I keep going back to my jab. I keep going back. They keep going back to the same thing they think is going to work, running the ball, the read option, you know, design runs for the quarterback. Like Justin said, Buffalo decided to get stupid aggressive, especially coming off the edges. And we're just going to see whatever happens. You got to beat us either one-on-one on the outside or, you know, hopefully, you know, Andrews gets open and, beat them that way. And it honestly didn't happen. The longer that didn't happen, it was just like, okay, here comes that word again, adjustment. Like, you're not going to do anything now to change this? You're about to lose this game, and you have nothing to change this. I don't care if you're 11-5. These offensive coordinators fired, and it should happen. He should be gone because right now you have a great piece. You have a weapon to use, but you have no idea how to use this thing. So if you're going to go fight in this kind of battle, you're going to need somebody who knows how to use it. So go grab one of these coaches from college, let him out, get him back to a spread. You have Hollywood Brown on the outside. You have that kind of speed, and there's times in the game I forget he even plays for Baltimore.
Yeah,
and it's a terrible thing. So it's like kind of you see this, and it happens so often that at a certain point, yes, Lamar has improved on some things. There's no doubt about that. But at a certain point, this gets to be frustrating to watch. And watching it go 17-3, and then hearing other commentators say the things about Lamar at this age and at this point in his career, it makes it frustrating because I know part of that is to deal with coaching.
Yeah,
sorry, I'd let that out.
Nah, you're good. I'm just choosing peace and choosing not to add on. So, yeah, they got to figure out how to use it. And it's crazy because everyone else is running this corny offense that we keep talking about. Or how about you just try it? Just try it. Like, go in this offseason, go sit your butt down, turn on some Rams, some Browns, some Packers, some Niners. Figure it out. You can pick and choose any, meeny, mighty, mo out of the box. Figure it out. You got enough nice running backs. J.K. Dobbins would eat if you're running zone left, zone right. You can run power. Like, you have the running backs. You probably got a better offensive line than some of these other places that are running this scheme outside of maybe Green Bay. Honestly, you have a better line than the Rams. You have a better line than the Niners in terms of all five folks across the front. Man, look, it's like you guys said. I feel like by them trying to put him in his box where you could have just run some normal stuff and see what happens. Like, and that's the craziest part is like, yes, he does need a number one, and I do get that. But my worry is with the same person currently in charge of it, is that person going to know how to get the number one the ball in this scheme? Because my whole thing, then you get a number one and you waste 4 years of him. Like, you got a whole Devin Duvernay where you actually have some speed comparable to some other teams in your conference, except they know what to do with all that speed. Tyreek run like a whole 4 routes. They don't care. It's 4 routes. You won't get all 4 of these because you're not stopping him. It's fine. You're going to put him in the slot. He's going to run to the sideline. He's going to beat whoever there before. He's going to get there before you. Cool. Hey, look, he's on the outside. Is that a safety? Oh, it's not. I'm going to count the 2 and put this thing in the air. It's just not that difficult.
What's amazing to me is, because I think we've all said it, they got this weapon and they don't know how to use it. But it's like, you can do the simplest thing by going back to his college career, like Justin was saying, is just look at what he did in college. Look at what got him into the league. Look at what he did that made you say, I want him. What made you say, I want him? Because that's why he's successful. And then you bring him in, but you don't keep that line of success going because he's doing something different. Well, dummy, of course, that ain't what he did. That's not who he is. Not what you're asking him to do. You got to be able to, I don't know. Hi, boys and girls. This is the word of the day. You've had 16 games to look and see what you guys got. And then now you have a whole new season going on. And this is for the big one. This is for the big trophy. You want to hoist the trophy. There's certain adjustments you have to make at this point going into the playoffs, especially Harbaugh knows this because he's been here. You have to know, okay, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. We've been doing it all season. We won some games. Yes, we got to the playoffs with it. Yes, but defenses are going to be watching every little thing we do, and we cannot continue this. It's not working. It's not making him successful. It's not making the offense successful. Like, they didn't look good in that first week. They really didn't. In the first playoff game, they didn't look that great. And then they came around, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense now. Because now the defense is actually paying attention and going, oh, this is all we got to do? Okay, cool. That makes it easy for us. They just not adjusting, man. So I just don't understand. Just go back, look at the tape that brought them into the league, and you should be fine. I'm no exec, but I'm just saying it just sounds like common sense to me.
Yeah.
But the thing is I'm sorry. That whole college stigma, that whole stigma about college players and bringing the college offense to the NFL, that's gone now.
Yeah.
So now use college plays. Like, this is the thing of Like it was the early 90s, late 90s or early 2000s. Like, I don't want to use these college plays. No, it's gone now. You can actually use these plays. Stop being dumb. And that's the problem. They're just cool with being dumb. They're cool walking around and just saying, well, we got past the first round. And it's like, we didn't do that last time. No, that's not it shouldn't be your goal. It should not be your goal, but it seems like they're fine with that.
Yeah. You know what it says about the NFL, honestly, is the Ravens, all they do is they play solid football. Like, they're a solid team that doesn't normally make mistakes, which works during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
You can bully these teams and they can call this basic offense and Dobbins, feed their 3 running backs and Lamar makes some plays. But when you get down to the best 8 teams in the league, you have to play football now. Now it comes down to some more coaching. Now it's not, hey, you know what, we're physical and we're better than you are. We're not going to turn the ball over. And you can beat the Bengals twice and the Browns twice, whatever. Like, now you walk into the playoffs and you have some teams that are prepared and you're running the same stuff. And when they stop, you don't have an adjustment. Now it's like, well, so hopefully Lamar make a play. And now you get this guy. Like, what's funny is they spend all this time saying, yo, Lamar's going to get hurt because he runs. Lamar ain't getting hurt running. Lamar got hurt in the pocket. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's crazy. You're like, you're just running quarterbacks and that. Like, that's not the issue. You have this guy in this situation, and he's getting his head taken off because of what you're doing. This ain't Lamar trying to break the pocket too fast or a designed run. This is coming down to the staff. And again, the Ravens are known for being a hard-nosed defensive team, and everything went right. Like, they played, Buffalo's been on fire, and you limited Buffalo to 10 points plus the pick 6. But I mean, I watched Lamar make some passes in that game. Like, what was it, like a 3rd and 17 from their own goal line when that game was about to be over, and he makes some play. Lamar can play football. Whether it might not be the way certain people want it played, he's a playmaker in his own way, and they're not taking advantage of that. And they have weapons. Like, I think what Jesse said, I thought about that earlier, was Marquise Brown is a 4.2 athlete. I've never thought watching him play for the Ravens that he runs a 4.2. You know what I mean? Like, why are we questioning his hand? Like, that's not his game. He's not a possession guy. That's what Andrews and them are there for. I've never, like, we're looking at Marquise Brown expecting him to be Michael Thomas or something. Like, Marquise Brown's a playmaker. You know what I mean? At some point, you got to play these guys to their strengths. You have a chance to have power running game with a track team between your receivers and your quarterback, and you're not doing that. So who's that? That's not Lamar. That's not even on. I mean, at some point it goes back to the head coach, but who are we leaving out? And that's listen. You held Buffalo to 10 points. You got to win that game. That's what it comes down to.
I want to run my offense the way I want to run it.
Yep.
You know what the sad part is, though? This is really sad part, though. He ran more spread with Colin than he did with Lamar.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because Baltimore's offense turned into an old black father.
Yeah, if everybody wants to
I'm going to do what I want.
It's so hilarious because when he took over for Alex, it was out of under center. Then they decided, you're black, you have to play spread.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's all we can do under center is
right.
Gotta do that. So then that was the beginning of everything going left because they took it from under center, and then they were like, let's go for spread. Then they get Lamar, and they're like, we're gonna just stay in pistol and under center and throw away my little spread concepts where it was essentially 4 verts, but again, 4 verts with this group is more explosive than the try to go 4 verts with Anquan, Crab, and Vernon, but I digress. That's their business, not my problem. I don't care. Baltimore, I hope you figure it out. If you don't, Harbaugh's and connections and not firing people and such, that's on you. It really sucks. I don't mind, though, because my team messed up not taking a quarterback in that draft. Y'all got one and don't know what to do with it. So if you want to keep fumbling the bag, I know a guy. I know a place. Just let me know. Y'all can maybe call the Rams if you want somebody more conventional. Go get Jared and watch what Sean does. The thing you can't figure out. it's just too difficult. It's really simple because y'all believe play action is only either a sprint, it's a sprint out the pocket, or just drop back with this empty toss to no one when the ball never gets tossed to them at all. But again, that's on you. On to another team where, hey, Cleveland, I'm so sorry. I'm proud of you for where you became, like where you've grown and all that good stuff. Stefanski, good year. And again, talking about what this paint by numbers offense does for quarterbacks. If Baker had it the entire time, I'm sure his numbers would have looked good all 3 years. But this is what we're talking about, what the system does for people. And again, Ravens, just try it. Just, oh my goodness, just try it. This offense is so simple. Really bad people go far with it. And you have a really good person. Really bad people succeed with this offense. Like, honestly, Aaron Rodgers is the first good dude to run this offense. That's it. Everybody else is mid or less. Everybody else has been some mid and have went places. LaFleur cashed out. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers runs it, and y'all out here trying to outthink the box. If you don't just copy this, y'all copy everything else. Like, I don't get it. Okay, so
I'm in the film room like this. I'm saying, yo. Yeah,
what I'm saying, some of y'all got a game plan for that offense like 2 or 3 times a year, and y'all Baltimore, and don't want to be like, well, let me borrow. You got Baker out here on the move, moving the pocket, all this other stuff. You don't want to take it. Maybe Lamar can possibly do that. The stress that he would put on the defense and such. Shout out to my man Kevin Stefanski. Like we were talking about earlier, like I said, I love him. He's a little too big vase for me, but I also do understand because this is the other caveat going with this offense. If you don't have Aaron, you don't really trust the dude you got under center because there's some mid, and that's what the Browns got into. Perfect scenario. Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, gets hurt, knocked out the game. Man, you got a chance. It's a one possession game. Chad Henne under center, which means I ain't punting. I ain't worried about nothing. Like, I'm going all out. I'm only getting one opportunity at this. And my man punted. And to me, when y'all are we're going to get to this place soon where it's going to be a divisive issue when it's time to pay Baker Mayfield. And I'm going to come back to this moment where against Chad Henne, the great Chad Henne in the playoffs, coach was like, I'm going to punt the ball instead of go for that midfield when Patrick Mahomes is not available.
Right.
Because they couldn't. I've seen this before. I know it firsthand. When you can't trust the dude to do what you ask him to do, it's really simple. You just be like, defense, fix it. Lord, defense, fix it. Go give me the ball back. Maybe get us a short field. Who knows? Maybe y'all can win it for me. But like that was the biggest thing to me. As soon as they punted, I was like, oh, y'all about to lose Chad Henne. First thing popped in my mind. I was like, oh, how's it gonna happen? How's it gonna happen? So it was tough for the Browns because, again, little too McVay-ish. Chubb should have had 25 carries. And then the other thing that was weird was like they kept trying to you have Hunt, right? And they kept trying to do all the screens and stuff with Chubb. And I'm like, why don't you just put Hunt in? Like, why is your pride so it's okay if you have Nick Chubb, but that's what you have 2 of them. Like, if I want to throw, Nick, come sit next to me. Kareem's going in for this play because your hands are made of stone. I want this play to work. And it just didn't make any sense to me. I know that hurts them. It really has to hurt. Got some good weapons. I was happy seeing Njoku. Myles Garrett balled out. Denzel Ward he did as best he could. Travis Kelce baptized him on that route. It'd be like that sometimes. That's a bad man. What's that, Rob? KYB? Yeah, that's the thing, man. Some people just don't. And then again, when we want to talk about plays that everybody runs, and I feel like if we're at home knowing that play is probably coming, how y'all know that's all the Chiefs run when they get in trouble?
Don't you hate that? Where it's like, dude, wait, oh my God. Like, that's the exact reaction because you know what's happening. I'm at the crib. You right there. You can't see that? Come on. My bad. Go ahead. Finish. My bad.
Not too good. I'm like, it happened a couple weeks prior, so it's recent. It's not like you have to go back to week 2 to see the tape. It was like 2 weeks ago against the Dolphins, and it was like, oh look, it's fourth and Hill. He's gonna run from that side to this side. Y'all not going to do nothing about it. It's fourth and Hill. That was it. He was unbothered about everything. And the closest person to him had a 9 on the first number on their jersey was a 9. You're in trouble. So shout out to Andy Reid, you know what I'm saying? Some big ones there going for it, but not really. I'd be unbothered too. Like what I got to lose. My man's out. Y'all might lose to Chad Henne. Like I'd probably be confident too. Like it doesn't hurt me. Like if I lose, arguably the best quarterback in the league got hurt. What you want me to do? That's not on me. But y'all gotta hold this L, Chad Henne. Clear. You have to hold that all offseason. The whole year, as great as it was, ends at the hands and feet first of Chad Henne. I don't know how Chad Henne gets 18.5 yards on 3rd and 18, and they still give you a favorable spot. And then comes in on 4th down and hits you with the 4th and Hill play. That's tough. Rob, I know you're bringing something else, but Jess, we'll start off with you on the Chiefs and the Browns.
Yes, thank you, yes, thank you. I am not here for the Chad Henne slander. Thank you very much. No,
my bad. Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead.
No, honestly, no. I have every take I have of this game is literally about the Browns. Number one, Baker Mayfield's feet give me anxiety. I honestly can't sit here and watch him pat his feet the way he does and then throw for 5 yards. 7 receptions for 20 yards for Landry is exactly what I figured this game was going to be like. Nick, I appreciate that. I appreciate that banner. Oh, thirdly, Nick Chubb should not be getting like, what is wrong with this team? You had a chance to sit there and possibly, like you said, knock out the Chiefs with Chad Henne in the game. You had a chance to really do this. When you punted that ball at that point, you were basically saying, I don't trust my quarterback. I don't trust this line. I don't trust this running game at all. So what we're going to do is let's see if Chad Henne beats us. And he did. After he threw a duck. Like the play before, like he threw – I remember screaming at the TV, there's no way in the world you're throwing that ball. You did throw that ball. Like it was just he threw a duck in the end zone and got interception. And I just thought, okay, this is the way the game ends. This is the way it goes. But the Browns said, "Now, here, try it again." Like it's somebody's dad. So I don't know. It's just they're frustrating because they want to prove that Baker is so much the number one quarterback and the franchise quarterback that they think he is. And he may not be. I mean, he's I guess a step up better than Menzel, and that's fine. But it was just it's sometimes it's frustrating to watch. I cannot imagine being a Browns. Well, I'm an Eagles fan, so it's not too far right now. But I cannot imagine being a Browns fan.
Go ahead, Justin. Nope. I chose Pete for the record. Chose Pete.
But no, like you said though, I think it just kind of showed the whole, like, okay, he made it, he's good, and then right when you got that 4th and 9, you showed I'm not gonna take the training wheels off. Like I think it's okay to let him be the man, but that was the time to say he's our guy. Because Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball there. Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball there. 4th and 9, they said, let's see if Henne blows this game. You know what I mean? You don't have a dominant defense. And you're getting there, you're at the 50. Henne just threw one of the worst interceptions of all time. So why wouldn't you think, give ourselves 2 shots? Let's try to get this first down, and if not, he'll do something stupid and we'll have a shot. And I mean, Stefanski did a great job. You know what I mean? And a thing that kind of bothers me about a lot of these games is you're down and you make that run and you get back in the game and you're still in scramble mode. Like you're down 6 points. Why not put your best player back in the game? Not from the sideline, but in the game, meaning okay, Nick Chubb's our best player. We're down 6. We could take our time and go back to the beginning of, running our offense. Not okay. We got back in this game on some scramble modes type stuff, but now let's have a good drive and win this game. Because Kansas City was trying to give it to you, and as great as Mahomes was, he didn't do it. They weren't playing great ball with him in there. You know what I mean? I think all season we've been talking about how Kansas City, they play around too much. But maybe that's just who they are. You know what I mean? Like, we keep looking back at that team. Like, okay, the 49ers had him beat last year's Super Bowl. And all season it's been close against Atlanta, close against this team, close against that team. Maybe they're just a solid, above-average team that finds a way to win. So maybe they're not as dominant as we all kind of like that pedestal we put them on. And then, again, they had a chance to put that game away a few times before Henry got in there to do whatever he did. And Cleveland's building, but the windows are short. When you give that money, you give Mayfield a little too much money, you might close that whole window. You know what I mean? You pay him like he's somebody he's not. That window's done. Because now some other people who actually are playing a major part, they're walking out the door. And you find out, dang, Mayfield is a game manager, which is fine. But you don't give game managers max contracts. You know what I mean? And that's listen, man, that's a loss that's gonna hurt them forever. It sounds good, like, oh, you almost had the Super Bowl champs beat. No, the Super Bowl champs gave you a game and you didn't take it. You know what I mean? And that's a situation of Cleveland ain't been here in a long time, and who's to say you ever get here again? You know what I mean? I think that's a chance. You're gonna look back on this game if you're Cleveland and say that was our shot. You know what I mean? You could have stumbled into a Super Bowl with things breaking the right way, and you threw it away. Who's to say what happens with Pittsburgh and Baltimore next year, and you might not even make the playoffs. So I think that's a tough loss. Tough loss.
Rob?
So, I don't know, man. It's Cleveland was a fumble through the back of the end zone away from winning that game. Let's not forget that. It was one hell of a play. It could have been a helmet-to-helmet hit that they should have reviewed because it clearly was helmet-to-helmet. I mean, it was textbook, put my head down and dive right into the head of the next man, but nothing was called. So what ends up happening, he fumbles. Ball rolls out the back of the end zone. That's 6 points off the board, man. And like you said, it took them so long to get back into this position of being in the playoffs and being the talk of the town. You can't not go for it on 4th and 9, knowing the game is on the line, knowing what's on the other side of the ball, which is Chad Henne. Shout out to the University of Michigan, but still, it's still Chad freaking Henne. And then you get him confidence because he had a 12-yard, 13-yard run or something like that, got the first down, and now he was like, oh, I'm the man again. Until Pat gets back, I'm going to ride this out. It was just so many different things I saw in that game from a coach's standpoint. And shout out to Stefanski, man, because he's done well all year long. Look where they are. This team was 11-5. So I'm not going to take anything away from it. But you can't, like I said, you cannot not go for it on 4th and 9, knowing that's probably all. This is the season right here. This is not another regular season game. This is how you know they ain't been to the playoffs in a while. Because they were like, oh, we'll punt it. No worries, we're good. No. You're going home now, bro. You had to go for that. You needed that. So I think it was just, they just dropped the ball on that, literally. I don't like the fact that I can't figure it out, but why does Jarvis Landry have 7 for 20 yards? Like, one of y'all brought it up, and I had to look. I was like, no, that's somebody's math is wrong.
They forgot the one. They forgot the one in the front. They forgot the one in front of the 20.
Man, it's 7 catches for 20 yards and a 30. Like, that is the weirdest stat line I've ever seen. What are you throwing? 2-yard passes?
It's really not, right? So we were talking about what this offense is based off, right?
Right.
Now think about their pieces and where they have their pieces at, right? So they use yard more time inside the slot instead of outside, right?
Good point.
So ideally, what they should have been doing was using Jarvis. Jarvis should have been in the Debo Robert Woods role. He's not. Mm-hmm. I think they got what's my man that play outside? Higgins,
yeah.
I think they got Higgins in that role. but they don't do any of that. The extra stuff. Well, I guess technically the stuff that people call only Debo stuff, or when Robert does or Woods does and stuff, they use them more like the Rams use Woods without any of the reverse crap. So in that case, they don't even use Jarvis like Jarvis gets used like what's the other dude on the Rams? Reynolds. And they don't even use him vertically. So like when Reynolds isn't going vertical, he's the guy who's just around. But like the only reason we notice is because if you take Jarvis Landry away, we wouldn't be tripping because their offense is running. It's just where they have him. That's just really it.
Every time I see that stat line, I'm just going, that's weird. And then it says as longest was 7 yards.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Again, before what's it called got hurt, they had Odell doing the Debo and Robert Woods stuff with the end arounds and all that crap. So they never moved Jarvis into his role. They just left him inside. So essentially, they got Jarvis playing Kendrick Bourne's role.
Gotcha. Okay. A
better way to say it for you, yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't thinking about it like that, but maybe they need to make a change in that because Jarvis is too much of I don't know. I feel like he needs to be used more in a different way.
I think they will have decisions to make because they know how to use Peoples Jones, right?
Yeah.
Like, they know how to use him downfield. Higgins can use downfield. Odell come back. They probably need to move one of them two because I don't think they know what to do with Jarvis. Honestly, because now with Njoku back too, Njoku goes vertical, gets vertical. He's a bigger piece vertically in their offense than Jarvis is.
Yeah.
Tight end. So one of them dudes got to slide.
Somebody got to go. Yeah, I knew that was going to end up coming in the offseason. We'll see how that goes, but it's like there's something in there that's not quite clicking, and I think that is part of the problem with their offense.
It's just the piece.
Yeah,
because in San Fran, you don't got the fourth dude because Kittle's one, right?
Yeah.
Then for the Rams, the tight end's the extra guy. Higbee or whatever is the extra guy, right? In Green Bay, Tunyon's not one, but he's a little bit higher after Devontae than one of the other wide receivers.
Yep.
So just in mind, when people start running, like we'll end up doing the same thing with the Jets. When you start taking people from that tree scheme or whatever, and you just gotta look at the piece and how they're using it, I would just reference like at least for me, I'm looking in my mind is who did you get? Do they lean more Kyle or more Sean? And then you just try to see what pieces because that's pretty much what they're mimicking. Like ain't nothing to hide, just what they have. But Baker's more comfortable when they go play action, they go vertical. With San Fran, doesn't have that in their playbook because of the people they have to go deep to. Peoples Jones and niggas do a good job winning vertically. And the ball can get there. Shout out to Baker. I really don't. Shout out Baker. Kudos to you.
Stop. You take shots at James, man. Don't take shots at James.
James who? James who?
James Garoppolo, my brother. You're a quarterback.
His Wikipedia probably got updated. All right, the last game of that day before we move on real quick was the Bucks and the Saints. Some people were sad with Jariz and how that went out or whatever. I'm just gonna stick up my hair real quick. Not shocked. They've been bad. The reason you ain't won the Super Bowl with this roster because of the dude you had under center. Cleveland, take heed. Don't fumble the bag when you got a really good team. You don't have to cash the dude all the way out. The Saints just wasted 5 years. I know it's not popular, not allowed to say it out loud because he's going to go down as one of the back quarterbacks, yada, 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 whatever. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because you had to sub your quarterback to throw the ball 20 yards downfield. And Slant Boy over there wasn't really doing nothing. So it is what it is.
Slant Boy.
Funniest thing I've heard all week easly. Slant Boy.
Real quick though.
Could you imagine walking in a locker room with somebody called Slant Boy?
But did he lie?
No, they didn't lie. That's his route.
No, that's
him.
That's all I'm focused on. After all that, my man didn't lie. So you paid $100 million for Slant Boy. You got some money problems. Old boy going to retire. Technically, you just got Taysom contract under center. But yeah, Tampa Bay, credit to Tampa Bay when we were talking about some of the other teams earlier, not trying to do the whole thing where like Brady got to do it. Man, they ran the ball. The defense did what they had to do. Didn't put the ball in danger or whatever, and kept it moving. They got out of there. And that's all I really took from it was one team had enough people that understood how to win in the playoffs, and another team does what they know how to do best in the playoffs: fold. So, Jesse, you go.
I I actively root against Sean Payton. I honestly do.
He doesn't make that hard. Does he?
No, and that's the thing. He makes me feel like I'm trying to be a good person, but he makes me sit there and question myself sometimes because I know like he's went through some things, and every time he went through something, I'm like, you know what? He's a jerk. Like so, it's just so it happens all the time. So seeing them lose like that, we have a quarterback that you knew was already limited. B, he looks old. Like in you know it. You keep forcing in a quarterback that you think is going to be good. And it's just, I don't know. He just seems like the kind of person that just, and he talks a ton of trash on the sideline. Like it's, like he talks a ton of trash on the sideline. And those are the coaches that you wish you're like, you know what? Can you just suit up real quick? Because I need to hit you. So it's just watching them and watching this team is, you know, you have a great weapon in the backfield. You have somebody can run a ton of slants. You do have some speed on the outside, but you don't have anybody that can give him the ball like that on a regular basis. As great as Drew Brees' career was, he's at the end of it. But also, Sean Payton just takes Drew Brees out at certain points and inserts a quarterback that's so. I don't know. To watch it every year, like Saints fans, what's the excuse this year? Y'all just lost, and you lost to a quarterback. Brady he looked good. I'm not gonna lie, he did look good Sunday. So I don't know. It's kind of sad in the end. The fact of Drew Brees leaving on that note, but at the same time, see you later.
Y'all so harsh.
Yes. You said we're so what?
Y'all harsh, man.
I held back.
Hold on.
I got so much worse than that.
That was Jesse. I simply stated facts.
No, I'm gonna.
They're just facts. Past couple years, I mean, Minnesota Miracle, Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph.
Oh.
Kyle Rudolph. And then the Buccaneers top, history-making defense with all them ducks that were thrown. So I don't know, man. Just it is what it is. I know we ain't got a quarterback, but got a lot of dudes that can run slants. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, Saints lost. Like that's pretty much like the Bucks wasn't great. Like the Bucks didn't do nothing special. Like the more like to that one thing proved a lot to me. Like it hit me during this whole thing was the Saints have had a really good roster over the last 5+ years, and we could blame the ref, we could blame this. This was on Peyton and Breeze only. Like when you watch a baseball game and you're like, hey, he don't got it today. Like it didn't take long to realize Breeze ain't scoring no points. Like obviously Peyton knew that because he put Winston in to throw a pass and he ain't throwing him all season. So like at what point do you say, hey, maybe we should give Winston a shot? We might lose by 40, but we might win because we have a solid roster. Like I think at some point that stubbornness that caught up to him, and then the Saints, which we've talked about many times, is this might be their last shot because that salary cap is not, they're minus more than the cap is going into the next season. Like the cap's 125, they're what are they, minus 115? So like this was your shot. And listen, Breeze has been great for them, but if Jameis could have got you through this game, we know Jameis there's no middle ground with Jameis of average football. So he was either going to win you that game or he was going to totally lose you that game. You know what I mean? So at least there was a chance of winning because with what Breeze was doing, he wasn't going to win you that game. And the route they've taken all season with not feeding their best player, which is Kamara, that's been an issue all season. And whatever their Peyton's plan is, or Breeze or Taysom Hill or whatever the case may be, that caught up to you because the defense played well. You know what I mean? And you got to give them some respect for that. And then with Tampa, they had chances early to put it away, and they kept talking about how Godwin never drops the ball, and he kept dropping it. But that roster's too loaded with, talented or once talented players to not be able to do more, because that game should have been a lot worse. And I liked Brady a long time ago, and I wish the best. I don't know. I watch Brady, so I watch him, and I liked him in New England early in his career. And you need more. Like, I expect more. So unless that defense puts on a performance next week, I don't know what to expect from that team, because with those weapons, there's no reason that at crunch time you're going to Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson. You know what I mean? How is that possible when you have Godwin and you have Mike Evans and Antonio Brown's injured, and Gronk and all the people, but yet at crunch time he feels most comfortable going to Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson? That something's not right with that. You know what I mean? And I think Ronald Jones has been playing well, but they found every reason to make everything his fault. So Tampa's just a weird team. Like they sound like those, that old Eagles team, that the self-proclaimed Super Bowl champs, and the NBA teams that always fail. Like, it's just something's not right there. You know what I mean? And if Green Bay is right with the way they seem, then maybe they walk over them. That's my take. I'm sure we'll get to that later, but I'm just not the biggest Bucks guy.
Nah, that's understandable, man. The Bucks didn't look great. The Saints looked that terrible. Drew Brees had 3 picks. And like you said, they brought in Jameis to throw the ball downfield on a play that we ran against them and didn't catch. Y'all knew it was coming. Now, Alvin Kamara, he actually got the ball 18 times, 85 yards. But it was too late because Drew threw 3 picks. Now you playing from behind. Now you want to run the ball? What are you doing? You got Slam Boy. He had a target all year. Where you been? He sleep? What happened to him? Like, it's amazing to see what New Orleans didn't do with the roster that they have. And then Tampa Bay on the other side, they got just too many weapons. And I don't think they don't know what they have. They're just like, hey, we're gonna grab all these Nikes and just throw them in a bag. And I don't know when I'm gonna wear them. I work in the office. I can't wear gym shoes. That's what I feel like this roster is. I'm sitting there looking at them like they got Fournette, Jones, Brady, Godwin, Miller. Everybody got the ball. You have too many weapons, though. What's your game plan? What is your game plan? What is your objective? What is it that you're trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got through this one. Good job. You ain't gonna be able to do that this week. You on the other side? Nah, they in the zone in Green Bay. And that's why I said Green Bay is the best team in the NFC. I've seen enough out of all these teams to go, okay, there ain't nobody beating them. Ain't nobody coming out of the NFC except for Green Bay. Again, it hurts to say that. Okay? It really does. But it's the truth. And I had to tell the truth. My mom's downstairs. She don't like when I lie. I gotta be honest. Okay? So it's just it was amazing watching that game and just looking at the things going on. Tom Brady, he looked old too. You ever seen anybody struggle to hand the ball off? Like, he catch up to the running back on the outside zone read. He was a struggle. I don't want to see these dudes no more. I need new fresh faces in the league. Drew, salute, bro. You did your thing. It's over with. Good night. Tom, you next. If you can't hand the ball off to the running backs in your backfield, You really got to do some soul searching. You really got to do some soul searching, man. They're not going to get away with the stuff they did last week, this week. It's not going to work. You have to have a game plan. You're either going to use Mike Evans or you're not. And I don't understand how you're not using him as your number one. He is your number one receiver. There's no other question about that. Looking at that roster, I got Mike Evans at the top of the list. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you know how to use him? Why can't you guys execute the plays for him? And then when you do execute the plays for him, it's 3-4 yards here, 3-4 yards. I'm going, hey man, 6'5". Post him up. Like, what are we doing right now? But let me hold on. Wait a minute. I think I got the. What did they say? What does that say? Is it close enough? KYP? No, you got to get all close to the camera. Like my writing is that bad, man. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Got all close up on the camera. I can't read that.
I was zooming in.
But they got to know their personnel, man. And I feel like they have too much. They just don't know what to do with it. I just feel like it's kind of chaotic at times. Yeah, they're winning. They won this past week. And they've won games in the regular season. But some of those, if you're watching those games, you're going, it's a lot of chaos. What's happening right now? Like, who's on the field right now? I didn't even know they had him. When is Antonio Brown get back?
Yep.
It's amazing, man. It made me laugh, though. I can't do nothing but laugh at it.
All right, Jesse, we'll start with you. Rob pretty much got into it, pretty about the Packs and the Bucks. So, Jesse, I asked you, Packs, Bucks, you like, why?
You asked about this. The Pack, really. I mean, it's going to be one of those things to where the more I keep thinking about it, the more I'm going to laugh, because at a certain point, if I'm the offensive line for Tom Brady, I'm going to go, you got one more time to yell at me like this during the game and act like it's my fault. Like, it's just, and you're going to see a ton of that during this game, because it's going to start getting out of hand early. It's going to be one of those things to where that the Bucs defense, I mean, it's decent, it's good, but right now Aaron Rodgers is on fire. So that it's going to be, if it gets 14-0 early and it starts to look like, like I said, Brady's age really starts showing, as far as that is the longest, 3 or 4 yards between the offensive line and the handoff. That it seems like a lot of work. Brady's going to start looking like that for the game. It's going to be a problem. And I don't know. It's going to be one of those things to where that's going to be the game where after it's over, people are going to ask, is this Brady's last game? So I see the Packers going Super Bowl, and that's it.
Justin?
I think, like Rob said earlier, I think it's the Bucs don't know their identity. Like, I think the roster, the talent's there offensively, and the Packers are really, it's the running back, Aaron Jones, it's Rodgers, and it's Adams, and then a lot of guys that just play a specific role. The tight end's good and all that, but the Bucs have 5 years ago, that's an all-star team. Gronk and Antonio Brown and Evans, and like those are 4 or 5 of the best weapons in the league. But you don't even know what their plan is. They don't have a plan. Ronald Jones is a solid back. Fournette, they got Fournette being a receiving back. And watching him struggle to catch footballs, and like they don't really have a plan. It's just, okay, whose turn now? Like, we got to get to him. And you don't win Super Bowls that way. You don't make Super Bowls that way. And Green Bay, it looks like offensively they've just bought into what they are. Adams is our number one. Jones is gonna run. We got these other 2 backs that get carries, and we're gonna run this offense. And Rodgers is happy doing it. He looks relaxed. Like, hey, it's not all on my shoulders, but if it is time, I will sling one. I'm willing and able to make a play when it comes down to it. And I think, that's gonna be the difference. And with defensively, I still don't think the Packers are the toughest team in the league, but I don't trust the Bucs to stick with anything. Maybe certain teams could beat them up, but none of those teams are around. So I don't trust the Bucs to run the ball 5 times in a row or 5 times in a drive. So if the Packers can get a lead and then rely on that pass rush they have, and I think that's where the game can get away from Tampa, and I think that's the big difference there.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you guys. I probably not gonna lie, I probably feel better about the Bucks now that AB's out. I feel like Tom has a better rapport with the two young dudes because they're more the type of receivers that he's threw to for years in New England. What is it, Miller, and then the other young cat from Minnesota? I can't think of it. Yeah. They're just they're comfortable. And then the other thing with Green Bay, they be sitting in zone, so it's like Green Bay should handle it. Green Bay should become adults and take care of this and move on to the next round. Same time, the fact that you play a bunch of zone, I don't like it. I don't know if I trust the Smith brothers to actually do their job and put pressure on Tampa Bay like that. And I like Tampa Bay's tackles. So like that's the other thing with me is like with the Smith dudes too is like, yeah, when they're able to win, Green Bay's rolling. But when they're not, I've also seen that part of Green Bay when they don't win, man. It's scary hours after that. If them dudes don't get home, bad stuff happens. So like I said, Green Bay should take care of business. I just feel a little weird because of the zone defense. I don't like that part of it. I really don't like that part of it because I don't trust any linebacker that they have on their team. I don't trust it at all. I probably never will until they get a good one. That just bothers me. It's like the whole middle of the field open for Tom Brady with two good tackles. And I'm trusting the Darius and Preston to actually show up and do their job in a really big moment. And I've seen this story before where I'm like, bro, I thought y'all was supposed to come do something. Where were y'all? So, again, Green Bay I'm with y'all. Green Bay should handle their business. But, it's Green Bay, man. Maybe I'm living through tinted lenses just because of how I feel about Green Bay or just what I've seen by them. But again, like you guys have also said, the type of teams that would bully them or whatever, they're not around. But again, like it feels disgusting to say that. I'm probably rolling with talking them. Yeah, it feels really, really good to say that. Just because, like, even with pounding the ball, if Green Bay can't, if Green Bay's not able to keep it balanced, outside of Devontae, who else win consistently one-on-one? Like, then we get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because the system's a system, but you have two really high pieces in the system. Everybody else is. Without this dropping wide open seam routes because why not? Just wide open. It's okay. No one needs it. Big moment. Oh, look, it hit the ground. Darn it. Bills Chiefs. Rob, you want to start with this one?
Yeah. So Pat Mahomes looks like he's gonna play. Looks like he cleared. Right. Looks like he cleared concussion protocol, even though he didn't have a concussion. He's got put to sleep. Like they put him to sleep real quick, put him in that chokehold and throw him down real quick. And the boy didn't know how to react to it. It's not funny. I'm sorry. It's only funny because he's better and he's fine. But when I first saw it, I was like, did he just go night night? Like, that really just happened? So he'll be fine. And so that is where things get interesting because I just don't see the Bills being able to beat Kansas City. I don't. I think Kansas City is one of those teams, man, where we know their defense isn't great, but we know their offense is. And it's one of those things where they find ways, like you guys said, to win. They have that much confidence in that team where they go, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like it or not, this is what we're going to do. You think it's a bad idea? Great. I'm going to do it anyway. You know why? I got all the confidence in the world on the offensive side of the ball. We'll be able to figure it out. We'll be able to fix it. We'll be able to make plays, enough plays throughout the game to get the win. And the defense somehow just in the playoffs, they find ways to make things happen and help get those and help secure those wins. And I think this is going to be another one of those games we're going to see it like that as well. Again, shout out to Buffalo and everything they've done this year and the success they've had, 13-3, first time in the playoffs since Thurman Thomas. I think that's what it was, right? So, kudos to them, man. But I think it stops here. I think Kansas City's going to go ahead and pull this out.
All right, Jesse.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, they're going to try at some point to, I think during the telecast or whatever, to try to say that the Bills played a couple of top 10 defenses previously, so the offense looked a certain way. And it's not that. They just look bad. So the Bills are going to have to create some sort of turnovers in order to stay in this game, because if you start getting to the point of, okay, we're just going to try to outscore the Chiefs, you're going to get that quicksand mode real fast. And, I know the Chiefs don't really blow a lot of teams out, but this is a game that's kind of set up for that to happen. So, honestly, the Chiefs still pull it off, but the Bills have to create, in order for them to stay in this game, there's got to be some stops on third down, and there's got to be a turnover somewhere. And I just don't see the Bills doing that.
All right,
Yeah, no, like the guys were saying, I really I want to go with the Bills. I just don't see it. I feel like that one turnover that Allen's gonna make is gonna be the difference that kind of allows Kansas City to make that run, to take advantage of it. And Kansas City hasn't played their best game yet, still, and I think it's still out there, And I just don't, obviously we'll talk next week about when they play Green Bay, but I think just the Allen's still shown himself to have those flaws, which more than regular season, like what everyone is, you're playing better teams and you expose those weaknesses, and whether it's he's the weakness or the offensive play calling is the weakness, they're putting way too much on his shoulders, and he's kind of showing some. He's playing well, but he's showing some issues, and I think Kansas City is that good of a team that you got to be really set on what you're doing to have a chance to beat
them. For me, I guess I probably feel the same way. The other thing for the Chiefs is they finally get their starting running back this week. I believe Clyde Edwards-Helaire finally plays. Like, they beat the Browns, and again, not to piggyback and kick the Browns while they're down, but no Mahomes, no Edwards-Helaire, and he was a big part of the offense throughout the regular season. For the Bills, that's yet another weapon that you got to deal with. They already move everybody else around. And, there were times against the Browns, Tyreek was taking snaps out the backfield because they didn't even trust the Williams cat that played running back. While dude was out, Levy didn't even really get carries like that. That's how revered young boy is that they took in the draft. I was messing with Justin when they took him. I'm like, y'all gonna mess around, let my man Andy Reid get his new Brian Westbrook. And that's exactly what Clyde is for them. And he coming back, that's yet another thing we saw last week. They put their top cover guy on a freaking tight end, and it was advantage tight end. There's more weapons going into this week. I don't know how Buffalo is going to deal with this. I know their defense has done a good job this year. I agree with Jerry Hughes. They don't get enough credit. I get all of that. All I'm simply saying, this is not coming from no fan hat on or anything. We've seen one defense in 2 years slow these dudes down. One. And even then, it was only for 3 quarters. And then they had their run in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. That was the only time I seen them do stymie and stop and kind of without any type of flow. Outside of that, I'm so sorry. And again, this is not a knock on the Bills' defense or anything. I don't see it. I don't think you have enough. I love Tre'Davious White. You don't have enough cover guys. There's just not enough. Playing zone ain't it with that dude with that type of arm. And the other thing now is the added caveat again, and I'm going to keep saying this. Edwards-Helaire is back. It changes everything for that freaking offense. So now when Ty scoots across the field in motions and all this other fun stuff, the running back is actually in the backfield. Other things now when they go empty, no disrespect, Mr. Williams. That's another wide receiver on the field. It's annoying. And then Steve Spagnuolo doesn't get enough credit for what he does defensively over there. They don't have a shutdown defense. They have an opportunistic one though. They play in spurts, and their little spurts, they're extremely timely spurts. They're like a high-powered basketball team that doesn't play defense, except that they get the 3 stops they need, and it's enough. Each stop leads to like a little mini run, and that's exactly what it is for them. And for Buffalo, you got to be balanced. You have to be balanced this week to get these dudes out the way. Like if you come in with the same stuff from last week, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly quick. This ain't Greg Roman offense. You don't want Mahomes and company looking all under the hood of your defense for extra possessions. This ain't the week for that because they're gonna let you know some stuff about your defense you didn't know. You're gonna find out a whole bunch of stuff. Like he shouldn't be on the field. How did I not see that through 16 games? Got to get a new one of those. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being so serious. I've seen one defense do it. That's it. And it wasn't for 4 quarters. It doesn't even last 4 quarters. On your best day, it was 3 quarters. And then it was like a 30-point spurt. It wasn't 30 points, but that would have like the avalanche happened. And this is the thing. That happened by balance. Buffalo, you cannot go in this game and run this ball less than 25 times. Because if you put it all on dude's arm, every miss is going to feel like a turnover.
Yep.
Not even a turnover, just the misses. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Clyde is back this week. Man, what if you go into the game, you expecting a firefight, and Clyde gets 25 touches?
And that actually makes sense with Mahomes coming off being shaken up like that. That's probably the way that they're going to go. But Buffalo's they're going to focus all attention on Pat and go, well, we got to make sure we box this guy in. Yeah, but you need to worry about the dude that's behind him. Because that's going to be your real problem. If you don't take care of that, it's going to be lights out. It's going to be lights out early.
Yeah, they have to stay balanced. Like, they have to stay balanced. And that's like this again, this is for all things are going in your favor. You got to stay balanced. You have to execute. 3 points is not enough. It sucks. I know it's incredibly difficult. Firsthand as a fan, watch my team do it. Back-to-back drives with field goals, you're probably in trouble. These are the rules. I didn't make them. These are the rules. They play by 7s. That's the thing. Hey, look, that's even factoring in the kicker missing extra point.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care.
And that's the thing. You called it perfectly as far as that Westbrook situation. You know, when Andy Reid was in Philadelphia, when Donovan eased Donovan in the bigger games, he actually used Westbrook more coming out of the backfield, whether it be a screen, whether it be an option, whether it be, whatever. He'd run the ball early with them, and he'd get the 4, 5, 6 yards. And then Westbrook would abuse linebackers. Like, it was a problem. So now you give that player to light years ahead quarterback and say, okay, get yourself in the game. Don't worry about early. Don't worry about trying to, score a quick 21. Just ease this game. And by the time you get your head straight and you feel good, we can start rolling from that point forward because you got a receiver on the outside in Tyreek Hill, who is the fastest top-end speed from a dead stop that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. That man literally gets from point A to that top speed faster than I've ever seen. So you have all these different tools along with that number 87 around the middle of the field. You try to plan for all that stuff, but then you got that weapon in the backfield. And I can truly see them deciding, okay, early on, let's get Clyde Edwards-Helaire a few touches early. Let's get him 5, 6, 7, 8. Anything, screens, runs, anything at this point. Just ease yourself into this game. And it's going to be tough for the Bills. They almost have to play perfect early. And I don't see that.
It's not just early. You have to play perfect before. You have to run through the tape. San Fran did not run through the tape. There's 3 plays in that fourth quarter. You hit any one of them 1 plays, you won the Super Bowl. You went 0 for 3. They went 3 for 3. That was it. And I wouldn't be shocked. You know, Andy is a serial screen user. He did not do it last week. Buffalo, if y'all come out this game not ready for like 2-3 screens on that first drive, whatever happened to you, that's on you. Trying to tell you. You about to see that ugly little fullback screen he throw. It's gonna be a couple Kelsey screens. Like he's about to be in his bag with screen where he comes away because dude's coming off that injury. And if y'all don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. That's on y'all. I wish you the best, but he did not. I think he used 2 screens last week. That's not Andy.
No, it's not. It really is.
That's not Andy.
I was actually surprised about that when I was looking
With
at the
the
offseason.
He didn't even get into his bag, and y'all took that out.
But plus, this is a team this is going to be a team they respect offensively. Yep. You know, so I think this is like, okay, this is a team you think can beat us. Like I don't think they didn't expect much from Cleveland because even it still was back to hiking the ball to Kelsey and all that weird stuff. So I think this week they walk into a point of going for the kill. I mean, they already don't care on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. They're going for it anyway. So this might be a game where they just finally put the pedal to the metal. You know what I mean? I think because this is a team that people really think can beat them. You know, with Allen being an MVP candidate and Diggs and things like that. Like they walk in this game saying, okay, now we're going to bring the A game, which is scary because we've been watching them saying like something ain't right with them. You know what I mean? That's what Super Bowl champs do. You know, and they have the talent, so it's not like there's no hope. It's just like it's all there. It's just are they going to put it together? You know, you add Hilaire and you get some. You know, if they want to play, if they're scared of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and play 2 safeties deep, they'll just feed Hilaire and run the ball. You know, and if you come up, they're going over the top. So I think that's what Kansas City wants. You know, it keeps them well-rounded, and you know they don't have no problem attacking when it's there.
Yeah, that's literally just what worries me is that part of it. It really, really worries me is, like Justin said, you have their attention. They didn't have a first-round opponent. And Cleveland was whatever. You did what you had to do to win. It shouldn't have been whatever it gets. Cleveland has got nothing to do with you. This is what it looks like when it's a team coming back around for the second chip. And they were like that through the regular season. Unless challenged,
you
know, it's just whatever. And again, like, not to keep harping on this, last night they've been challenged, been admitted, and it was a way that they got challenged. And I don't think anybody in this current field has the defense to challenge them. And I don't mean that from a disrespectful way or anything like that. People are missing vital pieces on their defense to fully put the screws in them. You're just missing a couple things here and there. And that's the tough part. You got a team that plays all zone. I mean, that's cool to a degree, but the communication there, you got enough backers, the pass rush going to be there. Like, all that stuff matters. And the other thing is team speed. I don't think anybody left has enough team speed to deal with them. And that's the biggest thing is their team speed on a whole different. They on a fast track of fast tracks. If you don't have dudes to play, it gets interesting. And so again, Buffalo is not a knock on you, just being real, letting you guys know what you're going into. Wish you guys the best. Everyone's hoping for great games, and we'll see you guys next week. To talk about how everything went, and preview the potential Super Bowl matchup. Again, I'm here for the offseason. I don't care. Just one-on-one. So in case anybody thinks, like, I just want to make it perfectly clear. So if you feel like I'm wronging your team, I don't care. I'm different. I'm ready for draft day. Don't care. Whoever wins, they win. You lose, don't care.
He really is different, everybody, just so y'all know.
I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Trading me to hear good things from teams who manage their money poorly. Thank you. Sign me. That's it.